Welcome to our third practice of embodying your sun salutations. We're going to begin again on our back in constructive resting. So this beginning portion will start to become quite familiar, yet I think it's always really important to approach when we're doing things repetitively. Same type of movements, same type of exercises, stretches, whatever that be, that we still approach it with this like open beginner's mind, because just take a moment, and as you land down onto your back, just kind of really noticing the subtleties of how it's always going to feel maybe just a little bit different from day to day, depending on what you've done throughout your day, or even just as we build on these practices, how things will shift and adjust in your body. So take a moment to lengthen the back side, lengthen the back of your neck. Let your head be as heavy as it is. Let the feet be as heavy as they are, and the legs relaxed. Arms on your body or alongside your body. And just take a moment to meet the floor. And would there be any part that perhaps you need to just give a little extra support and have the floor meet you? Let's take a moment to just land into your breath. Just meeting the floor. Feeling the spaciousness of your breath in the head and face. Notice as the breath moves in the nostrils, down the throat, feeling the space of the chest and the upper back. And breathing into the sides of the body. Allowing the anchor or the mind to anchor down on the breath into this rhythm of inhaling and exhaling. And then when you're ready, we'll take the hands and we'll start to trace from the right side rib cage up towards the left and down the left. So, same as what we've been doing the last 2 days, hooking the fingers underneath, and just be mindful again of changes in the body, taking a full breath to find space. And then the exhale, just applying a little bit of pressure with the tips of the fingers. Soft breath. Take your time on any spots that feel particularly tender or just even really good and spacious, and you want to just be there for another moment. When you're ready, just allowing the hands to be on the soft part of the belly and just taking a few breaths here. And then we'll begin to bring engagement to the core center. So if it is helpful for you to bring the tips of your fingers there, you can just poke in and you can do that coughing to give that sensation of engagement when you have found it, either one leg at a time or both legs together, lifting the knees up above the hips. Feet can be engaged, so toes to the sky. You still have that little bit of curve in your low back, so you're not bracing by pressing everything down. There's just this sense of containment here. And then we'll reach the arms up overhead. So just take a moment here, reach your shoulders from your shoulder blades to your fingertips as if you're reaching up towards the sky. You'll feel the backs of your shoulders lift away from the floor, and then plunk them back down towards the floor, kind of broaden across the chest. And then reach back up towards the sky, and then draw the shoulders back down. So just a little bit of movement here. Nice. Let them fall heavy, space across the chest. Reaching the right arm overhead and the left leg away from you. So you can reach that. We're not going to collapse it down to the floor. It can still be up towards the sky. You could even keep the bend in the knee and just touch the heel down. Or lengthen it away, just hovering it above the floor. Do you still have this sense of containment in the abdominal area? And can you still breathe? Can you still breathe wide into the rib cage? Just feeling a little bit of space there. It's not going to be as wide because there is this drawing inward. And then just pull that back together. Left arm overhead, right leg away. Same thing. You may have to just check in and adjust if maybe there's more strength on one side versus the other. So just checking in there, and you're still breathing, not clenching through the jaw and throat, and then bring that back. Alternating from side to side now. Just nice and slow, maintaining this engagement and this reach. Slowly warming the core. A few more like this. If you're feeling tired and losing that integrity of engaging, just give yourself a break. Knees to chest or feet can land down. Otherwise, just continuing for just another moment. Beautiful. Then when you're ready, just drawing knees in towards chest. Just rocking from side to side for a moment on your low back. And then knees again above the hip area. Take your right hand and press it onto your left thigh. And then lengthen the right leg away. And we'll just start to lift and lower that leg. Doesn't have to go very high. It can just go till it's about parallel with your left knee. So same thing, core's engaged. Left hand can be down at your side to support you. Little bit of pressure here with the hand and the leg together, while the right leg is lifting and lowering. And you're breathing. Nice, bring knees into chest. Take a pause. And knees back into that 90 degree. Left hand to right thigh. Right hand can support you. Left leg reaches long. And then lifting and lowering. And again, lowering only till the place where you can maintain that engagement through the core, and lifting just about the height of your right knee. And just keeping your breath soft and fluid. Amazing. Bring knees to chest. And then placing the feet down into constructive resting. Take a moment, just rock through the pelvis a little, find some movement there. And then press down through your feet. Send your tailbone towards your heels and lift your hips up. So moving into a bridge posture here, but just warming for the purposes of warming the back body. So warming the glutes by engaging them to lift the hips. Just taking a few breaths here, feeling the backs of your thighs working, pelvis in the direction of your knees. And then slowly lower everything down. When you lower and land down to the floor, can you take a full breath into the pelvic floor? Relax that area. Relax the inner thighs. Exhale, press down, engage to lift. You may draw the shoulder blades a little closer towards each other, but we're not really going for a back bend here. We're just warming the back of the body and lifting up. And coming down. And again, drawing knees to chest. Take your time, come on over to your side. So today and tomorrow we're going to be focusing on just a little bit of the form of tabletop, downward facing dog, plank, chaturanga, things like that. So first of all, just coming into tabletop, when you do, make sure that you're supporting your knees. If you need a little extra cushion there, spread your fingers really wide. So if any of you have wrist pain at all, you could also bring a little cushion underneath the palms of your hands and lift them up. Otherwise, spreading the fingers really wide, grip into the tips of the fingers underneath the fingernails. Find the space between your index finger and your thumb mound. And then take a moment. Can you imagine as if you were laying on your back here and you find that core engagement? So you're not just kind of dumping in through the belly, you're engaged through the core. And that may feel like you're pushing the floor away and creating a little bit of space between your shoulder blades. And then let's create a little bit more space between the shoulder blades as you push, and let your head come down a bit. And then sink your chest forward, draw the shoulder blades together. So it's not a full cat and cow. We're just going to find mobility of the shoulders here. Moving the shoulders away from each other and towards each other, towards the spine, away from the spine. Okay, then the next time you push the floor away, shoulder blades have space between them. Imagine that you were opening jars, so you were grabbing and gripping into your mat, hands are still wide, and that you were opening the jar outward towards the long edge of your mat. So both of the lids were going outward towards the mat. You're not actually going to turn your hands, but see how that feels in your upper back, or even along the sides of your body. It might feel fairly active. Very important to feel that so we can find it in a downward facing dog shape as well. Lots of support there. Maintain that, tuck your toes, engage the core, and let's lift the knees just to a hover. And then let's just pause here, and you're still breathing, still finding that core engagement. And we'll just take the weight over to the left a little bit and lift your right hand. Bring the right hand down, and we'll lift the left. Bring the left hand down. This time, lifting your right foot, bring it down, and then lift the left foot. Same thing, everything's engaged, not too much moving through the torso right now. Set that down. Can you lift right hand, left foot? Bring that down, left hand, right foot. Beautiful. Set that down, come down to your knees. Send the knees wide, come back towards a child's pose. Reaching arms forward. This is not comfortable for your knees. Always the option to come forward with the hips lifted. With that amount of flexion in the knees is not comfortable. And reach the chest forward. Full breath here. And then making your way back towards your tabletop. So when you find your tabletop here, pressing the earth away, let's take the right hand, reach it forward, and then open up to the right side. Draw your elbow back towards your hip, as if you were squeezing into that shoulder blade. So you have a little bit of rotation, a little bit of squeeze here. Beautiful. Take those fingertips to the back of your head. Lift the elbow towards the sky. And then exhale, bring that elbow towards your left wrist. Just a rotation. Inhale, open that up towards the right. And exhale, bring that back towards your left wrist. One more time. Inhale to open. Reach your arm up towards the sky. Reach that hand back towards your hip. Full circle. And back towards the floor. Left hand reaches up towards the sky. As you bend your elbow, reach it back towards the hip. Your spine is rotating towards the left. Fingertips to the back of your head. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, bring that elbow towards your right wrist. Inhale, open that up. Exhale, back to that wrist. And then inhale, open. Back to the wrist. Inhale, open. Send that arm up towards the sky. Reach it way back behind you. And hand comes back down to the mat. Tuck your toes. Again, let's start to hover the knees. Check in with the shoulders. You're pressing away. There's a sense of like opening those jars or those lids towards the outer edges of your mat. Start to just slowly tiptoe your heels and your toes back towards the short edge of your mat. And then noticing here as you travel that you can still maintain the engagement to your core. You don't necessarily have to go all the way back, but if you do, press through the heels and then just start to creep the feet back towards that hovering table. Nice. Start to creep back again till you find that distance that feels supportive here. You're not collapsing in the upper back and shoulders. Engaging as if you were kind of squeezing something in between your inner thighs. Press back through your heels. Nice. Lower the knees down. And we're going to come down to the elbows. So into tabletop, but down on the elbows. You can clasp your hands or rest the palms down. Move through cat and cow here. So pushing through the shoulders as your head comes down and you round your spine. Inhale, tailbone lifts, chest comes forward. Feel like this. Beautiful. We're going to come all the way down to our side body. So coming onto your left side or one side. We'll do both, so it's okay. All right, so down onto the elbow. And then when you come down, you may kind of notice your head and everything sort of sinks towards your shoulder. Can you create that space? You're going to actively push down through your forearm, through your hand, through the elbow, so that the shoulder and the neck have some space here. What we're going to do is lift into a side plank. So we can just press down through the feet and lift the hips here. And we can start to check in. How does this feel for you? Other option is to bend that bottom leg, top leg stays straight, and lift the hips. How does that feel? When you're here, can you find that core engagement? Other option is bottom leg stays straight, top leg bends in front. So all the same things happening. Find the side plank that feels most supportive to you right now, where you can lift up. And then let's pause there for a moment. You're pressing down through the forearm, through the elbow. You're not actually going to, but could you have this sense that you were going to slide that elbow towards the hip that's closest to the floor? What you're going to feel is lots of activation down the sides of your body. That's what we're hoping for. If you'd like, you can reach that upper arm towards the sky. You could reach it overhead. Just take a breath, pressing down, observing, and lowering down. Beautiful. We're going to do that on the other side. We're just starting to get our mind working with some of these muscles. So you may feel like you can take the same plank on this side. You may adjust. You can decide. So pressing into that elbow, lifting the hips, making any support with the legs that you need to. Checking in that you're rooting down through that forearm and elbow, making space. And then the sense of drawing the elbow towards your hip. You're going to activate the whole side body. Maybe the upper arm reaches towards the sky. Take a breath. Still engaging, but space within that container to breathe. Nice. Come on down. Come right down to your belly again and onto the elbows still. Okay, so moving through something similar to a cat and cow here. You can clasp the hands or you can place the palms down, whatever's most comfortable. You're going to just in your upper back, round as you tuck your chin, press into your elbows. And then let your belly come forward and your chin come forward, draw the shoulders back. Still the sense of pressing through the elbows so there's space. You're not collapsing into the neck. So just move through that here, cat and cow, in the upper chest and back. You may notice that you're engaging the belly a little bit as you draw that belly button up and towards the spine. And then as you press down, you round here for a moment, and then let's lift the hips up. So the knees will be down into the floor. You might get the sense that you have somewhat of your natural curves to your spine. Your tailbone might be tucked a little bit, but the core is engaged here. You're pressing down into the elbows, and then let the hips come down as if you were just laying the spine down on the mat, and come forward with the chest. So that can be our progression. Rounding through upper back as you press into elbows. Then the hips lift last as you dig down into those elbows. And you're almost in this plank position here. And continue with that a few times here. Next time you come forward, take a pause, tuck your toes. We can progress one step further if you wish. Tucking the chin, rounding through your upper back, lifting the low back, lifting the hips, lifting the knees. Drop the knees, the thighs, the hips, same as we were just doing, bringing everything forward. All right. So not lifting the low body or the hips until the chin is tucked, the upper back is pressing, rounding, then the belly, then the hips, then the thighs, then maybe the knees, and then lower that down. When you're doing this, can we feel the body moving between this place of engaging, so contracting as you lift, and then can you give everything that momentary pause to soften and relax as you come down. Be really mindful of the low back here. So we want to use the belly to lift the back up towards the sky. When you're lifted, we want to press through the heels and squeeze everything, engaging. Then let everything lower down and soften. A few more like that. Just into whatever phase of that or length down the spine you are comfortable doing. And then when you're ready, just come down all the way, forehead to the back of your hands, just a little bit of a wiggle here from side to side. And then just pause in stillness with a nice full breath into your low back space. Hands back underneath you, press back up towards tabletop. Finding that very stable, secure table that you can lift the knees from. Core is engaged, spine is long. We're going to start to take the right knee towards the right elbow. You might round in the back a little bit, that's okay, but we're trying to use more of the hip flexor to bring the knee towards you than so much rounding in the back, just for this purpose right now. So just bringing the knee to the elbow, so alternating from side to side. Trying to minimize a little bit of the movement actually in through the core while you're doing this. It's just stabilizing and working the hip flexors. Nice, bring that down, knees wide, into a child's pose, or help melting your heart with the hips a little bit higher. And then coming back up to table. Tuck those toes, come to that hovering knees again. Engaging through the palms of your hands, the fingertips, very important for the health of the wrists and the longevity of a downward facing dog. The shoulder health and things like that. So let's start to press the hips back towards the heels, press through the arms. Just start to find length to your spine. It's going to feel really hard, really awkward. Let the head rest between the hands, or sorry, the upper arms. And then when you're ready, start to press your hips up towards the sky into your downward facing dog. Pedal that out and just get familiar with your legs here for a moment. And then we'll just check in on some of those pieces with the hands and the shoulders. So there's this gripping into the tips of your fingers underneath the fingernails. You're opening, the sense of opening jars outward. Can you feel when you do that? It broadens across your upper back, across your shoulders. Bend your knees a little bit as you lengthen the tailbone to the sky. Pedal the feet if you wish. Move around and explore. Come forward into a plank position. At any point, you can drop the knees here. Same thing happening in the upper back, in the core, in the spine. It's just a matter of lifting the knees or lowering the knees for that little extra support. You can lift them up and lower them down. And then on your out breath, let's come back to downward facing dog. Come forward into your plank position. Knees can be up or down. Again, let's draw. Keeping the hips fairly steady here, can we start to draw our knee to elbow, just like we did when the knees were hovering. Knee to opposite elbow. Nice. Come down for a moment. Always nice to bring the top of one hand to the mat and just move around, palm face into the sky, fingertips towards you. And then other hand. Excellent. Setting up in your table, engaging your core. Let's come back to your downward facing dog, feeling the sides of the body. And then just take a moment. Could you just imagine, this is more just a little bit of play, that you're going to bring your elbows to the mat and then lift them up. They may or may not come anywhere close to the mat. Can they come in close to your body and close to the mat? What needs to happen? Kind of strange. Just a little bit of forearm strengthening here. Beautiful. Let's come back down. Come down to forearms for a moment. We're going to lift the right foot up towards the sky. So bending at the knee, sending that foot to the sky. Okay, then draw the knee towards you, towards your right elbow. And then out to your side, just like we did when we were standing. And we were drawing those big circles and moving back. And we do that with the knee here. Nice big full circle. Not much shifting in the low back. This is really coming from the hip. As you press that Foot up towards the sky, out to the side. Nice. We'll do that on the other side. We'll just start by bringing it in towards the chest, send it up towards the sky, bring it in towards the chest, and then circle outward. So as much movement in the leg and the rotation of the hip as you can find, with minimal movement to the rest of the body here. Because the core is engaged, you're not sinking through the core. Beautiful. Bring that down. Walk the feet away from you, coming into a forearm plank here. And then drop the hips down. Let your chest come forward. Stay lifted through the chest and heart. And then this sense, you can bring the palms down or hands clasped in front of you, of like you were going to slide through the space of your elbows. So just letting everything relax as you root down and draw everything, pulling it towards you, like you were going to slide through. Beautiful. Come all the way down here, forehead to the back of your hands, just a little rocking. And then hands back underneath you, back up to the tabletop. Come on up to downward facing dog. Take your time, start to walk your feet towards your hands. Going as far as you can that you can stay with your hands planted. Just experiment here, just play. Push the floor away, and then just start to slowly walk back. Your downward facing dog. All right, start to walk your hands towards your feet. This time we will come into a forward fold, so bend those knees. Relax your head, bring the weight back into your heels. Balance that out into your toes. And let's inhale and lift and lengthen the spine. Long spine, shoulders back. Exhale back into your forward fold. Inhale, root down and rise yourself all the way up towards the sky. Fingertips reach into your extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's just take a moment here in standing. Feeling this downward energy of your inhale that grows you taller. And the exhale just softens down the body. Let's take an inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. Maybe a little mini back bend here as you root through the heels. Send your hips forward, lift the chest. Root through those heels, engage the back of your body. Exhale, come to your forward fold, all the way down. Inhale, lift and lengthen your chest. Exhale, rolling that forward. Let's walk the hands back towards your downward facing dog. We'll meet there. And then take your time, come down to your knees. Swing the legs out to the side. We're going to come down onto the back again. Down into constructive resting, or perhaps a full Shavasana with the legs extended, depending on how that feels in your back. So landing here, giving yourself the opportunity to just check into sensation and into landing points. Notice if you can feel all the natural curves of your spine. And just breathing down, up, along those articulations. wanted to bring your mind's eye to the space between your eyebrows. And can you feel this spaciousness of this space between your eyebrows? Move your attention down to the throat and the jaw, tongue away from the roof of the mouth. And can you feel the spaciousness of the throat and jaw? The upper back, shoulders resting. And then moving the awareness down to the heart center. The space between the physical heart, chest, back, shoulder blades. And breathing here, feeling into the spaciousness of the heart center. Bringing that focus downward to the place of your solar plexus. You may want to rest your hand here. And feeling this spaciousness between the rib cage and the entirety of the torso. Feel the space that exists here. Bringing the hand down, or even just the attention down to just below the navel. Feeling the spaciousness of the low belly, the low back. That same attention down towards the pelvic floor, maybe the space between the hip bones or the pubic bone and the tailbone, and feeling into a sense of spaciousness in the pelvic floor. Feeling right down this very center column of your body, from the very crown of your head to the space between your eyebrows, to the throat, to the heart, the solar plexus, to the belly, down to the pelvic floor. And you get this sense that energetically, as you draw the breath in, everything moves down. And then as you breathe out, everything energetically rises up towards the crown of your head. So just kind of washing down and back up through your center column. Just resting the mind on this flow of the breath. Inhale, energy down. Exhale, energy rises. notice if there's any distractions, just bringing the minds back to this practice. Inhaling, clearing energy downward. Exhale, clearing energy upward. And just allow that breath practice to release. Just allow your breath to be spacious and explore all the way into all the parts and the crevices of your interior landscape. You're always welcome to stay here just a little while longer. We're finding gentle movements into your body that will bring you into a little more wakeful movements, and eventually coming up and into a comfortable seat. And bringing your hands together at your heart center for a moment, lengthening through the crown of your head. Take an inhale as you reach your fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale as the fingertips come down alongside you and touch the floor beside you. And then lift up through the chest and through the heart. A little bit of an opening here. Inhale, lift and lengthen the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, hands back towards your heart. Just taking a moment to find an inward smile behind your eyes and your mouth. In this posture, be a gesture of gratitude for taking the time for you, for investing in your health and wellness. The light in me honors and recognizes that light within you. Thank you for sharing your practice. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.